Animosophy.
Oh, my goodness. Who are you?
I'm Satan, God's best friend.
Satan? Why are you here?
I have some questions for you.
Okay. What do you want to know?
I want to know what your point was with writing that essay about the non-overlapping magisteria.
Oh, that?
Yes, that.
Well, at the time, I was at the Vatican and some priests asked me about so-called scientific creationism. That was in 1997. I was asked whether there was no tension between creationism, the idea that an almighty God created everything, and evolutionism, which excludes such possibility.
Okay, and then?
As I wrote then, the lack of conflict between science and religion arises from a lack of overlap between their respective domains of professional expertise, science in the empirical constitution of the universe, and religion in the search for proper ethical values and the spiritual meaning of our lives.
What does that mean?
It means science has its domain and religion has its domain. They are separate and non-overlapping.
Okay, go on.
Well, these two magisteria do not overlap, nor do they encompass all inquiry.
Sounds like you wanted to take away the fear believers have that science might overrule religious convictions.
In a way, that is correct. I wanted to convince them that it's perfectly okay to have religious beliefs and at the same time embrace scientific findings.
So, you wanted to shield their religious beliefs from scientific inquiry. You basically take a diplomatic position.
I believe, with all my heart, in a respectful, even loving concordat between our magisteria, the Noma solution. Noma represents a principled position on moral and intellectual grounds, not a mere diplomatic stance. Noma also cuts both ways. If religion can no longer dictate the nature of factual conclusions properly under the magisterium of science, then scientists cannot claim higher insight into moral truth from any superior knowledge of the world's empirical constitution. This mutual humility has important practical consequences in a world of such diverse passions.
Humility? So, after all, it is a diplomatic position and a very bad one to say the least.
Why is that?
You say that the God is part of the domain of religion, and science has its own domain, right?
Yes, that is correct. They are totally separate domains.
But that is impossible.
Impossible?
Yes. Is the statement God exists a religious statement?
It certainly is.
So, it's not a factual statement?
I believe believers would say that the existence of God is a fact.
Okay, but that makes it a factual statement, doesn't it?
Well, within the domain of religion, it's a factual statement, I assume.
So, the world was created by God then is only a religious statement without a connection with empirical reality?
I think believers will state that God has factually created the world in an empirical sense.
In other words, you discredit the veracity of a belief by saying that it's only true in a religious sense.
I can imagine believers will not like it that their belief is reduced to a religious statement only and not regarded as a factual statement. In relation with scientific creationism, we get a rather uncomfortable situation where a theory is both valid religiously and valid scientifically. At least, the proponents believe it's valid. But non-religious scientists are thoroughly skeptical of the claims creationists make.
That's indeed what creationists, who are now called proponents of intelligent design, will want to achieve, make their belief scientifically proven.
Yes, that is their agenda. Come to think of it, it is ironic. In my suggestion to immunize both science and religion against each other, you clearly get an overlap that is sought after by believers. They want to convince with facts and not with mere religious assumptions.
So, your idea of non-overlapping magisteria doesn't work that well, does it?
I concede that it is flawed. But at the time, it was postmodernist good practice to separate different domains of meaning. It's an effective postmodernist reconstruction of narratives of power. With my idea of separating those two domains, I want to take away the intrusive power both domains try to exert on each other.
Yes, but we are not postmodern anymore, we are modern now. Your Noma theory has turned out to be a diplomatic move after all. You actually made reciprocal criticizing difficult, thus stilting the progress of both theology and atheology. That was not a good idea, and we still have to mend the broken pieces of that postmodernist language game. That's why I have come here to talk to you.
I see now how problematic and deconstructive that move has been. But those were postmodern times. The time has come for both domains to show which one is the strongest.
Let the battle begin.